Now, next tonight, with soaring numbers of young people suffering anxiety, depression and other mental health problems, a campaign is underway to open a dedicated drop-in hub for the under-25s in Berkshire. The charity No5, based in Reading, says demand for one-to-one counselling has shot up by 150% since 2019. Despite increasing the number of free counselling sessions, its waiting list now stretches to well over 800 youngsters in the RG postcode area. The parents of murdered schoolboy Ollie Stevens, who had counselling from No5 himself, are backing a fundraising campaign for the hub. As our Home Affairs correspondent Nikki Mitchell reports.
Shoes, heads, shoulders, heads.
Team building with youngsters in Reading who either struggle to fit in at school, to cope or to behave. We're not showing their faces because of their vulnerability. Places here at New Meaning, an alternative education provider, are much in demand.
We are inundated. We have young people that haven't been to school for 3 or more years. We've got young people that have been chucked out for every school they've ever been to. We have a whole range of young people here. We focus on their strengths and show those young people they still have so much to offer.
So your voices matter, we want to hear them.
Nathania, who's running this outreach session for the charity No5, needed help with his own mental health in his teens.
I had counselling at No5 when I was 18. And for me, that was probably the first experience in my life where I felt heard in that way. And in my community, and by community I'm referring to being a black male, there's a stigma towards mental health. And I think that stigma impacted my sort of reaching out for help. But eventually when I did, it felt empowering, helped me develop my own agency, my own voice. It evidently was inspiring, because now I am a counsellor. And I also do outreach work. By having a young black male in these services, I also hope that others who maybe look like me can be represented and break down some barriers.
Heads, comb.
Depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-harm, suicidal thoughts, the list goes on. The number of young people suffering was already rising when COVID struck, and the pandemic added more fuel to the rocketing numbers. Child and adolescent mental health teams and No5 are overwhelmed.
A lot of our young people are on waiting lists, whether it's for No5 or for CAMS, and my team are constantly coming. I'll be in a meeting, someone's having a panic attack, someone's having a breakdown, can you just come and talk to them? And often I'll just sit there and do some breathing with them, but this is something that is part of my everyday now, seeing these episodes.
I was just waking up every day feeling worse and worse. It did get to quite a dark point to where I was feeling suicidal and wanting to end my life and feeling like I just didn't belong anywhere.
Despite us significantly increasing the amount that we're offering, more and more young people need help. So even though the service amount is going up, the amount of young people needing help is increasing at the same rate. I do find it frustrating and I find it really disheartening, but there is so much hope.
After turning a corner with talking therapy, Ryan agrees.
But yeah, coming here was so significant that I had someone who could listen to what I was saying and then reflect back to me and sort of help me and guide me through my feelings. It really helped me understand my self-worth and what I was actually bringing to the world when I didn't think I brought anything. Now I'm a lot more open of a person. When I'm smiling, it's because I want to smile, not because I feel like I have to.
Another youngster who benefited from help before he was murdered was 13-year-old Ollie Stevens.
What happened for us was Ollie started secondary school and he found it completely overwhelming. So it was at that point that he was given a counsellor from the No5 group who he used to meet with once a week in school. That's how he managed to get a place quite quickly, but that's not the way for so many children.
Ollie was killed by 2 boys and a girl the same age who'd plotted against him on social media. His parents are now helping No5 raise money for a dedicated young person's drop-in hub in Reading.
Through losing Ollie and reading about the mental health crisis that our children are going through and knowing that waiting lists are so long, we need something that's a little bit more instantaneous, and I just think it would take the pressure off the waiting lists, because the parents will be desperate to get their child to be able to see somebody and speak to somebody.
So it would be a drop-in, open access space here in central Reading where young people can come, access mentoring, youth workers, social spaces that are held really safely by youth workers, a one-stop shop where young people can access the information, support and advice that they need to take charge of their mental health.
One more question that we haven't decided yet is a name. So we want it to be collaborative. So what sort of name do you think would represent what we're trying to get the space? Part of our work at No5 now is to hear directly from young people, what would make them feel happy to go to a hub.
As the research and fundraising gets underway, so too does the hunt for suitable premises. Nikki Mitchell, BBC South Today.
A vital service there.